We are going live. And alright. So, welcome back to Satisfactory, where last time we just about finished up our rocket fuel factory, and it looks like it's basically stabilized at this point. This looks like it's 100% solid. So, with that in mind, I'm just going to take one more quick glance around, see if I can find any issues. So if we were to find issues, they would be down here in this section. And yes, apparently we are short nitrogen gas to this one. Alright, so that's gonna be fun. And the rest of these all look normal. So how is nitrogen gas ended up short? And it looks like it's just in that one line. And everything else looks basically fine. Alright, nitrogen, what is going on with you? So, okay, and I know what the answer is. The answer is the stupid valves again. No, apparently not. Did I get all of these valves set up to 600? I think the answer is yes, but there just isn't enough nitrogen coming through the pipe in general. And that's probably going to be because of this valve. So let's set that up. And hopefully that should solve the issue. So now we can have nitrogen flow through here. And the numbers look better already. Don't look quite full, but hopefully that'll be that problem solved. We're definitely getting more than 450 through this valve now, which is good. Alright, yeah, I think we really ought to move these drone ports so that they aren't directly underneath everything, but that's fine. I think we're probably fine here. So, let's just respawn and move on to the next project, shall we? So we are back here. And I guess the next thing I want to do is just drop by to check on the plastic and rubber factory that I had made. Because I never really confirmed that it was 100% operational. And I can just do that real quick through the power of the hypertube cannon. Alright, so now we are here. And we have a full box of plastic. And we have full boxes of rubber. Alright, yeah, so this is all working just fine. Got plenty of all of these things. So that's good. Now we can just respawn again and start worrying about fused frames, which are a requirement for minor Mark IIIs and turbo motors and stuff, and for all the fancy nuclear stuff. We can also do supercomputers, but let's start with fused frames. So, first off is hard drive scan time. do we have any hard drives directly for fused frames? Not that I can see. So that's fine, obviously. So this is 1.5 per minute. So we're going to need to make 15 per minute, which is going to be 15 heavy modular frames per minute. How much of that are we doing? We're doing 20. So we can actually just import the heavy modular frames and still have some spare left over. And that is going to save an immense amount of work, so we're definitely going to do that. Although actually, is this used for anything else in the future? Maybe. Maybe, but hopefully not. Alright, so if we're just importing the heavy modular frames, then this should actually be pretty quick. We just need a lot of aluminum casings, to be fair. That's a very large number, 750. And then 375 nitrogen gas, not even that much. So, I mean, that's all. The actual factory itself is going to be basically trivial, although we're going to have to majorly upgrade the aluminum production in order to keep up. So there's a Mercer sphere just directly below me. I'm not going to bother grabbing that. It's not exactly a priority. We only have one, actually. I should probably do that then. I didn't realize we were that low. I thought we had 2 or 3. Alright, so we are dropping down here. And over here. Where is this bozo? Is it in a cave? It's gotta be in a cave down here, right? Probably in this cave. Alright, so we're gonna go in. And I guess we'll see if this rock pile leads to anything. It does. It leads down to a further cave with Sam. That's exciting. But nothing else? Not missing anything, right? Nope, just a cave with Sam in it. So this is not the location we want to go. And then there's not some extra sneaky hole in the wall over there, is there? No. Alright, so we're going to have to head back up. And then go looking again. Now it's probably just behind this waterfall. If I were a game developer, I would put a hidden cave with a Mercer sphere behind a waterfall. That's what I would do. Nope. It's a bit disappointing whenever there's a waterfall without anything hidden behind it. Alright. And we're sure it's not just in the open around here. Apparently pretty sure. Okay, is there another cave entrance somewhere, like, over here, maybe? Gosh, rocket fuel jetpacks are so fun. No, it doesn't look like it. Alright, we're just gonna run in. And is it, like, in that uranium? That's what the scanner seems to think it's literally in the uranium. But I can't get in there because I don't have resources for it. Alright, I see something funny on top of that. Is that a summer sloop? If that's a summer sloop, I want to grab it. It is. Surprised I saw that from a distance. Normally they don't even load in that far. So let's at least grab this as a bit of a consolation prize. Yoink! Alright, and now I think we just have to respawn to get back up to here. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to go to the heavy modular frame factory, make sure it is 100% operational, and then hook up a drone port to it. So off we go. And then we can fly up this way. And over this way. I mean, I see green lights, which is a pretty good sign. But they are flickering yellow. So this is 96%. Has been case industrial beam shortage. And that looks pretty consistent across the board. Alright, encased industrial beams, what is wrong with you? So off we go. And let's see, so this is the row which goes into this, which is obviously not what we're worried about here. It's just doing what it always does. These ones, though, are short on steel pipes, just by a little bit. So let's head over and see. The steel pipes are coming from these machines, which are these machines all producing? There's 99% there and there. It would probably be this set that's messed up, right? Yes, so we are not getting enough steel through here. These last couple are pretty slow, and then past that is probably going to be fine for all of these. Yeah, and then we're at 100% there. So if we're not getting enough steel, why would that be? So you're going at 100%. Let's just run over. Is these couple over here not going? It looks like they are. It looks like all of these are going at 100%, which is a bit surprising, because then where... Oh, this one. Why this one? What is different about this one? Are these... Is this whole set? Oh, I see. So this is the last one on this belt of iron, because the iron comes in from there. So if this iron isn't making it enough, then we backtrack, and this machine seems to be doing very little. No, that's going fine. 100% so far. Alright, those are all 100%. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that this splitter... So, what's happening is that something over there isn't getting enough, and this one is sending more over there to prioritize. So we need to run over this way, and here we have 80% because it's not outputting enough. Okay, wait. So this... Oh, I think I understand. I think I understand. I think all of these need to be priority mergers then. Alright, I should be in upper pack mode for this. So we have to make all of these priority mergers so that it will prioritize using their outputs instead of using that extra one. So this is just... this is the problem here. And it's going to be maybe in this one. Yeah, so this is the one that needs to be fixed. As does that one. And that one. Alright, so now this whole thing only takes iron from here when all of those are backed up. So yeah, now we should be good, and we should hopefully see some more iron go that way, which will resolve the problem. It's not currently, but it might take a couple cycles to get filled up properly, obviously. Yeah, there we go. We got some iron going over that way. And now we are just chilling and waiting another couple cycles to make sure this works. I actually wonder if I want that to be faster so that it can output and fill this area before this shows up. I don't know if that's necessary, but definitely seems to be helping. Now we have a lot more iron going that way. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, so I think that's problem solved. Or at least dramatically improved. And now what we just need to do is set up the drone port. Now obviously using drones is going to mess with my power a little bit because I'm running from the same rocket fuel, but it should be fine. So I just need to confirm these are 2.5 each, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. 2.5 times 8 is 20, yes. So we have 20 heavy modular frames a minute, and what we need to do now is just get out. Sorry about that. We need to get a drone port in and hook it up to the rocket fuel source, and then we can use that to get the heavy modular frames to the next factory. Alright, so drone port goes in, and I think we're just going to go center any, right any, so that taking some heavy modular frames will obviously disrupt our fused frame production, but probably I actually don't think I like that. So what we need is, yeah, actually what we need is another smart splitter on there going out that way, which is right any center overflow. So the downside of doing it this way obviously is the heavy modular frame supply we have now is all we're going to have for quite a while until this fills up. But, like, it should probably be fine, right? Like, I don't know what we could possibly use this many heavy modular frames for in a reasonable amount of time for just manual construction. So we fill up the drone port, and we're going to call this HMF source, like so. And then this drone port needs access to rocket fuel. So we get that in, we get a drone port in, and this is going to be HMF fuel, and it gets a drone which goes to rocket fuel source and comes back. So now we just need to give it a boost. There we go. Oh, and obviously turn it on. That's important. Just get a power line there. Alright, so it has taken the rocket fuel, and it's going to go off now. There it goes. So it will bring back rocket fuel to here. And then we just connect that in so that the rocket fuel will go into this. And that's gonna obviously mess with our power supply a little bit, but only a little bit. We have a bunch of generators which aren't connected to that one, so it'll be fine. And this is already filling up nicely with some heavy modular frames ready to go out. So now let's pick a nice spot for the fused frame factory, which, I mean, it seems a bit silly to set up a whole drone connection only to go right over here, but I think that's what we're going to do. This is a perfectly reasonable spot. It's in a relatively empty portion of the train network, which matters. Having it be a bit more distributed can only help. So, let's see if I remember how to make a stop. It's been a while. But you go 3 of those, and then that. And then this connects out like this, and then across like that, and then let's see, these signals going into it become path signals. You are a path signal, and then you are a block signal coming out of it. Let's see if I can get you lined up right. There we go. So that is that. We now have our intersection. And what do we need to bring in? We need to bring in aluminum ingots and nitrogen gas. Alright, so it's going to be 2 trains and a drone. So this is actually quite simple. We're going to need a bunch of space. Actually going to need to... It's been a while since I've done this. I remember we have to fill up on wire beforehand because the train stops use a ridiculous amount of wire for no reason. It's like 100 per platform, and we have 5 platforms. Alright, so let's get a bunch of space, and then we're going to need this to go over this way as well, although probably not all that much. Just need only 2 train platforms this time is quite nice. Being able to cheat off of my heavy modular frame factory production is incredibly convenient for this. Like this would be such a huge problem if I didn't have that, but I do. Alright, so I guess first we need to get this curve in. And go over that way. And then we need more space here. All the concrete. This goes back. And there we go. That ought to be enough space. And then we put this in. And it's facing the right way. We need to give it 2 tiles of space between it and the train line. And then it's in. And we get the other one. And let's see, just give them a bit of horizontal room. Doesn't need to be anything precise, just in like that. So then this can be fused frame aluminum. And then we go over here, and this is fused frame nitrogen. And we are actually going to need to make nitrogen onto the train network and dramatically expand our aluminum ingot production. So, there's only like a couple steps in actually crafting this, but getting it started is going to be a whole nother story. So those connect up. Then we go back and we get freight platforms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like I gave exactly the right amount of space for that. And then fluid freight. So we get 1, 2, no, not facing alternating directions, which it loves to do despite the fact that it is like the most inconvenient thing possible. Alright, so those are all in. And then we just need, like, what, another 2 or 3 rows. Let's go with 4, just because it doesn't cost me anything to do. And then we go back here. And we bring that foundation across. And bring the train up. Alright, so then this curves out this way and goes straight across. Then it curves into there. Actually, this curve needs to be sharper, I guess. So we need to go like back here just to give it enough room. Apparently that's as far back as it'll go. And then we got that straight piece. And that can barely connect in. Cool. And then that goes across like that. And then we get block signals in there and there. And then on this side too. There we go. Alright, train station set up. So we can put in the aluminum train immediately. It's going to be a bit unlikely that it actually is able to find anything, and if it does, it's going to be by breaking something else, but we may as well put it in. Alright, so the train is in, and this is fused frame aluminum. So now we go here, scroll down to here, aluminum ingot output, fused frame aluminum, and then while it's here, it goes until it's fully loaded or unloaded and waits for 0 seconds. And then we save the changes, turn on self-driving, and it's off. Now we need to set all these freight platforms to unload before it makes it back. So let's just get all this stuff in. There we go. And now set the fluid freight as well. There we go. Alright, so this is set up to theoretically receive resources if they existed. And now we need to upgrade the aluminum supply and create a nitrogen supply. So, aluminum supply is somewhere over this way. Let's see, where exactly was it? I can't quite remember. Was it over there? No, I think it's just over this way. Pretty sure it's that giant mess over there is at least part of it. So we go over there and see if that's correct. Which, I think it might not... Oh, it's going to be past that. It's going to be the big thing by the ACUs, I think. Alright. Just keep on slide jumping. Just keep on slide jumping, and we will get there eventually. Alright, it's really funny hearing the hover pack connect to like each individual rail segment as we go past. Alright, so we are here at the aluminum ingot production, which is right here, and it's got basically nothing in it. Alright, is that because it's working but just slowly? Or has something gotten jammed? Of all the things that could conceivably be jammed, aluminum ingots is like the main one. Oh, I have aluminum ingots in a drone port as well. That's fine, we don't need to... That's for the whole casings and rocket fuel stuff, we don't need to worry about that. What we do need to worry about is this production. So this side looks, I mean 98% isn't 100%, but it's like pretty good. And this is down to 92%. So first, and this is down to 76%. It looks like not enough bauxite. Alright. So then this is just cooking along, plenty of heavy oil residue, that's not the issue here. And then this is actually producing well, but there's too much water byproduct here. Alright, so this is doing the fun thing where not enough bauxite is causing weird problems to loop around and look like there are other problems than what they actually are. But the issue here is that there isn't enough bauxite. And that is... I mean, it's a little bit surprising. I guess that train just left. So this, I guess we might be doing the whole train interruption thing where it should be 480 a minute, but it's not because of the trains. And then it's... yeah, okay. Bauxite's gotta be the problem. It's gotta be bauxite. Because the aluminum and water filling up is just going to be a symptom of that. Because if there isn't enough bauxite, then this will fill up with water. And then that, yeah. So I think the bauxite supply is the issue here, not any of the other stuff. And okay, this is weird. So we are grabbing from the front half versus the latter two. And I did actually see that these were empty. Yeah, so those two empty out quickly. And now this is just going to sit here doing nothing for a while until the train comes back. So that is, it's definitely a bauxite shortage. Now, one thing I can do to at least partially remedy that is connect these two, although this isn't exactly got a huge amount of bauxite either, but if we just connect these two belts up, so I guess we go smart splitter and right overflow and then bring this back here and in. So then we're going to need to make these belts faster because of that. So that will ensure that the bauxite that we have is getting split around properly, which will help a little bit. But it's not ultimately going to solve the problem, because the actual problem which needs to be solved is that the bauxite supply itself isn't good. So how much bauxite do we need? We need 180 plus 210 plus 210. So that this is 420 plus 180 is 600. Is this set up to handle 600? No, it definitely isn't. This whole thing is actually just set up with wrong ratios, isn't it? So this is 84%, 84%, 72%, and it adds up to 168 times 2 is 336, plus 144 is 480. So this side is being arranged properly. This side isn't. But we need 600 for this, right? Because that's how much aluminum we need to produce for this project. So I don't know what I was thinking. Like, obviously we just need... Okay, but that is a Mark V belt. Now these need to be Mark V, obviously. As does that. And yes, that's 600. And then we have some mysterious splitting here, which is 120 there, plus, I guess, 200... No, plus 60 there is 180. Alright, so the mysterious splitting does work. So we fixed the first problem, which is the belts aren't fast enough. And then the rest of the splitting is going to be good. So then the next problem is, of course, simply going to be the bauxite supply on the other side of things. So we need... There's the fused frame aluminum train showing up to grab basically nothing. So we can upgrade that all to Mark V, which will help a little bit, but not enough. And then we actually need this to be priority, not this, so that we don't mess up things elsewhere. So the amount of bauxite we need is 600 plus 480. So we need 1,080 bauxite going into this system. What is this unlabeled train for? I'm gonna label you once I figure out what you're doing. What? Why are you... Oh, you're aluminum ingot output for something, probably, and I don't know what, which is annoying. I guess I can check. RCU aluminum ingots. There we go. Train has been named. It's no longer mysterious. So next up is the bauxite, which we need to figure out. Bauxite train. Where even is the bauxite train? And is it full? So here's the river bauxite source. And I did set up a centralized location for it, right? Yes, I did. Okay, here it is. It is coming back. Because I don't want to just hook more bauxite in if it's already capped out on how much the train can transport. If that is the case, then we're going to have a serious problem, but I need to know about it first. Actually, yeah, we can meet it halfway at least by just running down the tracks. It's going to be coming from over here. And yes, just on its way. So that's the river bauxite. Then the aluminum bauxite is somewhere over here waiting in the train network. We are at the point where we're starting to get a fair bit of traffic, which is a shame. So let's head over here and see how full that train is. And I'm assuming it's going to be mostly empty. Alright, so is that you? No, you're the Dune Desert Iron. And the aluminum bauxite is making its way around. It's probably that train there. Yes, it is that one. You can tell by the compass. So let's hop over and see what's going on here. And I think we're probably going to need to upgrade this roundabout. Alright. So just at a quick glance, this train does actually just look full, which is kind of an enormous problem. Because if this train is full, then there's nothing we can really do. Like, if it's a full train, then it's just going to... I mean, the only thing we can do is just add another train on. So we can add another train onto the line, and then that'll accomplish something, but I don't know if this is even designed to accommodate that. Alright. I tried to land on it, but I failed. And now we're behind it. And I was in a hover pack, so I thought I was going to just drop down onto the train, but instead I just hovered above it. So this train is full. And I think I might see the problem, actually. I think I might see the problem. Which hopefully we'll have actually solved by doing it this way. So because these back two are taking so much more bauxite than the front half, they empty first, but the train doesn't leave until it's fully unloaded, which means that it just sits there without putting anything into these. So the fact that I've done this should actually probably resolve that problem and get this train running more quickly. So there we go. And yeah, so now the train has just fully unloaded in a single go. And now we have all this. And should be enough bauxite now to run this. And then it looks like there's still enough free space for this to still loop properly. Let's go up here and see. So this has room for water. This doesn't. We should clear out some of that then. So we get some of that extra water out, and it shouldn't be a problem if it's actually operating at full capacity. Like this one is fine on that front. So yeah, as long as it's operating at full capacity, the water shouldn't build up. It's just when we have significant disruptions like that that weird things can happen. But now we should be... We might need to clear even more water out, honestly. Alright, so that is a rather significant amount of water removed from the system, so that should be fine now. And it does look like it's working better. And hopefully the bauxite will last. Let's drop down and see how much of this bauxite has been drained. So it's only actually 4 rows, right? So it's probably not that bad. It's probably not that bad. Alright, I think we're going to have to... Let me think. So the next thing we need to do is just check on the actual amount of bauxite input that we have and make sure that it's good. It's going to have to be at least 1,080, and then... Gosh, what's the bauxite to aluminum ratio, actually? 480 to 576. 576 to 960 scrap. 960 scrap to 480. So it is 1-to-1, theoretically. So we need at least 1,680 bauxite production right? Because we need 1,080 for the ingots we currently have and another 600. And I think I'm going to... Gosh, I don't know how to do that. I'm going to have to add in another train for it. Let's see, is this... This is the bauxite source that we have. Oh. Swap to jetpack. If jetpack can gain me this much height, it'll be a miracle. And no, it's definitely... I mean, I got surprisingly close. But I'm going to have to switch to the parachute and get over here. And there should be a ladder on this wall, probably. Yes. Alright. Note to self, do not jump off the side of the map because you think you're in a different mode and you think you can just fly. Now, jetpacking is significantly faster than climbing the ladder, so that's handy at least. Alright, so this all looks fine, potentially. However, how many belts is it? It's Mark IV belts, and it is just 2 of them. No, it is 3 Mark IV belts, which is enough for what we're currently using. Cyan, hello. We are upgrading our aluminum production because we're making fused frames, which need a silly amount of aluminum. So these 3 Mark IV belts is 480 times 3, which is 1440, which is not enough for the total we need. So first we actually need to drop down here and check how much bauxite production it even is. And we can probably upgrade it to an extent. So that's 480, but we can upgrade it. And I'm going to swap to hoverpack for this so I can stay more stable. Alright, so you can be 600 now. And we are taking a small amount of damage just for existing here, which is very annoying. There we go. And then we can go over here to upgrade these. So this is 150. Then we go over here. And this is another 150. So this whole thing is just 300. Does this connect up with something else too, or is it just this little bit? Alright, it's just that little bit, apparently. So this is 300. We have a 600 over there, and this is another 300. So this is a total of 1,200, which is not a lot, especially since it's not actually 1,200 until we upgrade this whole belt. Alright. So this middle belt is the one which needs to be upgraded. And we're just going to fly up and upgrade it along. So we're going to need more bauxite production for this. And that problem where you need to increase a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it can happen when you're trying to add production of some late game thing which requires a lot of resources, because then you have to increase the production of like the entire chain of things that lead up to it. It's pretty common. Alright, so then this belt can at least go real fast. And just go that. And that should be fine. So this is 1200. We need another 480, I guess, which works out pretty neatly. Do we just have another pure node somewhere, or is all this... Alright, so we have a pure node over here. Actually, ironically, directly beneath where I'm doing the fused frames. Okay, so what we can do is we can use drones for this probably, and it'll be fine. At least for a single pure node, drones should be able to carry 600 a minute, maybe. We'll see. So we just get over here to the bauxite hub, which is going to be way on the other end of all this stuff. All the way over here, we have our bauxite distributor. Now, if we just quickly build another floor up here, like that, just because we need a little bit of extra space. So we can put a drone port here, and then not have to worry about setting up the whole train system for one single pure node. So we get that in, and I guess, well, one thing we can do to speed this whole process up, we can make these Mark Vs, which will probably help a little bit. At least getting this whole thing saturated nice and fast. Now we need to get all of these going up. So you go up to there. And it looks like the holes are going to be right by the edge of this wall. And it's kind of hard to get them lined up properly, because standing directly in front of it means standing on a fast-moving belt. Yeah, so that also works. Then this goes up to there. Just got to get all these in. And then a little bit more down to there. And then we just have to hook these first couple in. And there we go, and there we go. Alright, so now we can get these all going like that. And then split it all in. So you can go there. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're actually going to need a second drone port to go to the rocket fuel source. And you get a drone. And you get a drone, which we'll be dealing with later, but we're just going to need to have it in there. Actually, I think Yeah, no, I think that one does have the drone. So this then is bauxite fuel. Now we need to power these drone ports up and bring them down to there. And get this one booted up with some rocket fuel. And we're going to need to get this one as well at some point. Although actually, no, I don't know. There's no need to do that, because that's what this one is doing, bringing in rocket fuel for it. Alright, so then this is going to be bauxite hub. And we just need to get it all attached into these belts now. So it just goes like this. And there we go. So now, once we have this set up to grab bauxite from that node, then we can have it all pumped into here. So, we head where? Just way off to the east? Or no, way off to the west. Bad with directions. So we just have to head way off to the west to grab that bauxite node and then loop it in. And gee, I sure hope that this isn't an issue. Yeah, I think at some point we're going to need to rethink the central roundabout, because this is adding up to massive delays. So let's keep on moving along. Because if trains could just get into this roundabout more easily, then it would be much better. Problem is, the way we have it set up currently is that only one train can be in here at a time, which is definitely not the right way of doing it. Let's see, if we just like pop a signal in just like there, I assume that's not even going to work, right? Right, because it's a loops into itself problem. Now, what if I have... Actually, it might just be a problem then of only having put one into this loop. So what if we have you, and then we go over here, and gosh, it would be nice if it would let me place the signals facing in the correct direction. Alright, I have to like take that railway out and put it back in with a stop in the middle like that. And it still loops into itself. Alright, well, what if we just keep doing this? What if we just keep doing this? So that goes across like that. And now we can put that signal in, which is going to break even more stuff. Alright, I still don't really understand why it thinks this is looping into itself. I'm going to put the last one in and see if that fixes it. Actually, this one probably didn't need that, but because it had that little extra bit there. Oh, now it's all crooked. No. Fix that immediately. Hold down Control to get perfectly straight rails. And then that goes in. And yeah, this is definitely not working. So for some reason, yeah, I just don't understand why this is doing what it's doing. I also don't understand why all the stupid block signals all have an obsession with being the wrong thing. Alright, well this definitely hasn't worked. So... oh, it's probably because of these path signals. It might be because of these path signals. So... yeah, I don't understand how it thinks it's looping into itself, because it's definitely not, right? Like, these are all different sections. But maybe if we just make you a block signal, then are you going to give conflicting entry type? No. We're still going to give loops into itself. Yeah, the signals are often a bit scuffed. So we're just going to give up on that improvement. Just take all of these back out. It was working fine-ish, but slowly before. So let's just go back to that. And then we have one more over here to dismantle. There we go. Alright, so that should be happy again. This whole area in the middle is it's confusing me, but it's actually not connected to anything. I should... oh, right. It's not connected to anything, which means it doesn't have power either. Gotta swap to the jetpack to save myself from falling a billion feet. So let's just take all of these signals out, since they literally do nothing and aren't connected to anything. Alright, so these signals all go away. Now the only signals in this whole area are ones which actually need to exist. So that's nice. Alright, maybe if we put signals at the corners or something? Maybe the problem was that they were like in between those. So if you get a signal, then obviously it's not going to be happy because there's only one signal in this entire loop. Now, if we put another signal there, it's still very unhappy because conflicting entry types. Alright, what if we just make all these guys path signals? Alright, that might be the trick. And now just see, it doesn't look like, well, at least in that first ever trial, they didn't all crash and die. So if we just put path signals in all of these spots, then maybe it'll just work. Maybe it'll just work and we can have our roundabout functioning properly and not just as a very slow intersection, which is what it was. Alright. Let's try it with that, and then move on to what we were actually meant to be doing. And then if this causes problems, we'll figure out when there are lots of flashing morning lights. So let's just head on over here. What are you doing? Why did you... Oh, I see. It's just turning around. Well, that's just like the worst thing imaginable. I don't want it to do that. Because that, I mean, that's just going to cause problems with all of this. Is that like a thing that the trains are willing to do? Alright, I can fix it easily in this case, at least. So the way train stations work is that the trains always take the shortest path, right? But they'll treat train stations as if they're like, I think it's like 100 meters or some significant amount longer than they actually are. So if we just give them a path like that, which they can go down, and it's got to be signaled, then instead of trying to get into the stations and being dumb, if it wants to do that turnaround, it'll at least go around that way, which will prevent a significant headache. Alright, so now we take this power, pop it into a power platform, and now we gotta get this down to there. And let's see, it should be just in this general area. Yeah, here it is. Okay, don't fly too far from the power. Make sure to bring the power with us as we go. And then we can pop a minor Mark II onto this. And fully overclock it up to 600 a minute. Then we just connect that across so that it actually goes. Okay, now we need a foundation, which we're going to align to the world grid. Go up a little bit so that it's above the ground. And then we can just get in our drone port here, which is going to be much, much easier than having to set up a train system for all of this. So we just get transport, drone port. So this comes up and goes into there. Then our power goes in as well. And this is set to be bauxite mine. Might want to call it like bauxite mine 1 or something in the future, but for now this is fine. So that is going along. And let's make sure to spell it right. So there we go. So that connection has been made, and this should then send its bauxite over to here. So you can see that drone actually take off. It's hard to say. But yeah, there it goes. So that drone is going to come here, bring a full cargo full of bauxite, and then bring it back. So that should be a good amount of bauxite. Then the next step is processing that bauxite into aluminum ingots, and also we do seem to have created some form of gridlock. So what is up with you? So you are chilling here at this path signal and have been for a while. So you can't go here because, I mean, there's just nothing in this area, so why can you not reserve a path? What is wrong with you? Waiting unusually long in a signal. Yeah, no kidding. Alright, what if we just get you going and then see if the next train back in line is also going to get stuck here, which it shouldn't. Oh! Well, that's interesting. How did that happen? Because there is a signal there. Like, that signal shouldn't have allowed this train to enter. Okay. Well, here's the next question. Why is this guy just sitting here doing nothing? Because this whole area should also be clear. Right? Like, this guy is not. This guy's not stopping anything. Why have my trains suddenly lost the ability to just, like, choose to go through path signals willingly? I mean, there's no reason. There's no reason why this would ever be an issue. Go forwards. It's literally all you have to do is just go forwards. And turn on self-driving, and you're off. Are you using mechanical? Yes, I do have a mechanical keyboard. It's quite nice. Alright, so now we can re-rail that train and set it going again. And what on earth was that? Alright, sure, whatever. Alright, so now this train has also decided to just completely lose any interest in going forwards here. Oh, is this? I bet I know what's happening. Is it trying to turn around? Yes. Okay. It's trying to go in there, go through that station, and turn around. Now, why have they all only now decided that this is a thing they want to do? Like, they've literally never had any interest in turning around in these stations before. But now they have just decided that they really love turning around. Did you flip a turn signal arrow? No, I mean, it's alright, but the thing is, their pathing must have... So I did recently mess with this roundabout back here. I put extra signals in so that more trains can go on it at once. And I don't know how, but it must have, like, recalculated their pathings somehow. Alright, so yeah, it wants to... Yeah, it's impressive. Thank you. Yeah, I've put a lot of thought into getting this working, and it was working just fine for a while until I decided to go and upgrade it. And now it's like this. So the easy, quick fix is I can just, like, add a turnaround spot. So if I go... I wonder if this will even work. I wonder if this will even work. So we go out and then over, right? So we get this railway going something like that. And then it loops around and back in this way. Then that would be a U-turn. And it would probably be shorter than that. But that's kind of... wait. Why did they just fix themselves? What just happened? That train that was stuck there is just no longer stuck there. Okay, sure. I guess that's fine. I can't tell if the rest of these are working properly. Like, this one is still waiting there, and all the trains over there are still waiting. Maybe once this clears up, it'll go? Alright. This intersection is totally clear for you. How are you going to go through? No, doesn't look like it. It looks like you were just waiting forever. Okay, so I know what's happened here, I think. So I think this train... What train is this? You are Northern Oil. So you are... No, you should be trying to get up there, right? Or maybe in there? Looks like you have a full cargo, so probably in there. Alright. So where are you even... I guess I should just check that. Oh, self-driving... Oh, this one was one of the ones that got derailed, I think. And I guess the self-driving got turned off when it derailed. So we just turn that back on. Then you should be going. Probably. Right? No? Just sitting there still. Now, this guy is also just sitting there doing nothing. Alright. We're gonna do it manual. Off you go. And, I don't know, you're probably heading north, right? So just head over this way. And then over this way. Can't remember if you're headed to the hub or to the oil, but oh, I got out without turning it back to automatic mode. Let's turn on self-driving. Oh, the next station it wanted to head to was the oil hub. So that's not really going to cause much progress there. But it looks like... looks like things are working better now, maybe. If this guy can get through the intersection, which he can't. Okay, wait, are these all path signals? Okay, I think I know what's holding him up, actually. I think the path signal is just, like, chained through. So I think, yeah, he was waiting until he had a clear path all the way to his destination. As opposed to just, like, getting a little bit closer. So I think what we need is, like, if we just make you a block signal. No, that's not going to work very well at all either. Okay, let's think about that for a bit. It does seem to have mostly been improved, except maybe some stuff over there, but that also might just be delayed. Oh, that's just more guys stupidly trying to take shortcuts through other train stations. Yeah, I don't know why they keep trying to do that. But at least in this immediate vicinity, things seem to have improved. So this guy is the coal train, and he's trying to get all the way over to way back there. Alright, let's just try, for science, make this intersection block signals only. Alright, so we don't have any new errors. And I think that will mean that trains will be perfectly happy just to get up to here. Alright, so that train is going along now. And then it goes across. Alright, I think we fixed it, except for the weird tendency to take other U-turns instead of just going around the roundabout once. So yeah, I think what's happened is that for whatever reason, which I can't imagine why this would be the case, the trains have just lost the ability to detect U-turns. And so they're doing dumb stuff rather than taking the roundabout. Now, this is actually going to work for this train. It is going to make it through, but I really don't want it doing that. I would really strongly prefer it not, because it's just going to get stuck there, because some of these trains sit there for ages before they leave. So, what we need to do is set up some better way, figure out why they can't find the U-turns in the roundabout, and then make sure that they can find them again. Alright, what if... I mean, this is insanity, but... So we don't need this central bit, because this was disconnected ages ago. What if we just, like... Is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? Or we just, like, do that? Right? Like... Probably crossing over like there isn't good. Do we want this to just go across to here and then loop back in there? I mean, it's kind of a ridiculous thing, but they should be able to see that as a valid path, right? And then as far as blocks are concerned, probably fine to just have that all in the same block as this section. Alright, and then if we just build that on the rest of them, then hopefully it'll work. Although now it looks like, yeah, they're still getting stuck up there instead of taking U-turns. So let's build out all of this stuff and see if it works. So you can go somewhere up like that and then over like that. So you make the turn. And then you go over this way. And then you turn back. Please just turn back like that. There we go. Alright, so now we have 2 of those in. And if we can just get the other 2, then it should work. And I don't even know if this is going to help, but it should. I think what's happened is maybe like additional path signals also add effective distance, so it tries to take a route with less signals, and that backfires because we need to get it through here. That's why I'm thinking that this will work. And I could be wrong on that, but we'll see. Alright, so we need this to apparently start further up this way. Maybe like that. I don't know why it keeps trying to do it that way. There we go. So now we get that curve. And we go across. It'd be really easy if this roundabout were like perfectly symmetrical, but it isn't. Alright, so then that loops around into there. Oh, we've broken something. Lovely. What have we broken? Oh, is this just going to be signal loops into itself? Yeah, obviously. That is definitely a thing that we did. Move that signal just back there. Should be fine. Apparently not. Alright, signals. Why are you doing the things that you're doing? So this whole section is now broken, which is a shame because this is by far the most important section. Okay. I think I know how to fix this. So the other path signal has to be there, I think. No, that didn't work. Alright, what if we just like randomly pop a block signal on that? Yeah, so the problem is... The problem is that this entire loop is within the same section, which means that it's giving that error. Because it really doesn't like that. So... Okay, I think this actually does have to be precisely there. So its section goes forward to that. Its section goes back. Now I don't understand why this thinks it's looping into itself. I feel like I've fixed the issue. So over here, we have the signals. We have the entire loop within the signal, and it's fine. over here we have... Oh, what if we pop that out? No, that doesn't work. So then we move that back there. Doesn't work. What if we just take that out entirely? Alright, taking that out entirely does seem to work. Although I do not know why. We've also caused a bit of a traffic jam in here somehow. Alright, so those two both want to go through here, but they can't because of these, which are stuck because they want to do this U-turn here. Alright, so what if we just make this a legitimate U-turn? I mean, this whole thing just makes automated miners, right? Like, it would be totally fine for this to just U-turn. So, we take the railway out. And we go back that way. So then we have this, which goes along here. And then connects into that. Now, if we just put a signal or two in here. What are you sad about? You are sad because you loop into yourself. Alright, so I think we probably just need another signal back here. Does that work? Alright. Now you think you loop into yourself. What is going on? Oh, this... because this doesn't have... No, that signal needs to face the other way. Like that. Alright, so now this is all a big thing. And we just need a signal on this side as well. So you get a signal there, which means now this is clear, this train can go around. And we should be making improvements. I really wanted to make fused modular frames today, but we've just ended up messing with trains. Such is the life of a Satisfactory player. This is one of the things that happens when you use lots of trains, is you have to spend some time fiddling with them when they randomly break. Alright, so that's like kind of a fix. And now probably we're going to have similar trains wanting to loop in various other places. Alright. Now these two are both just stuck... Oh, I knocked my earbuds out. These two are both just stuck... You would think one of them would get the go-ahead. Oh, because this somehow got nudged just that little bit past the signal. So it's waiting at this signal, but also occupying this block because it's dumb. And I bet it did that because it needed to just barely get out of this signal in order to not be in the way for this train. Alright. Oh no, it did eventually figure itself out. So I don't know what all that was about. But we got there in the end. And now the trains can go through. And then go. Okay, now you're stopping there. Why are you stopping there? Who knows, but it was temporary, so I guess it's fine. And there's another train that's coming out that way. Goodness. And then there's another 500,000 trains all in here that need to come out after this. Yeah, this is not ideal. I actually have an idea. Hang on. I actually know how we can probably just make this significantly better. It won't totally solve the problem, but if we just take some of this and then just connect it up elsewhere, because all of these intersections, theoretically, I built them with the ability to turn both ways on this track, but going this way never would do anything for any of them. So I can change that though. I can just go over here and connect this up. Alright, this last one is the one that doesn't have that, and is ironically the one which could use it the most. Alright, so we need to get just a turn in here. And this is probably going to cause even more unintended side effects, which we're going to need to debug. But it should be possible. Alright, we need to dismantle that so we can get this to go sharp like that. And then a little bit forward. And then we need to hook it into this. So we get a little bit of space there. And we get another one of those, and it actually lines up perfectly. Huzzah for the grid that I have here. Alright, so now we just need this to go out like that. And across like this, just perfectly normal T-intersection stuff. And then these signals need to not be exactly in that spot. We need to just move them a little bit over this way. So we get path going in, block coming out, and then this is going to need block coming out, path going in, and then we have to go over here and turn this one into a path signal. So those are a bit far back, but it's fine. So now that this exists, some of the trains probably will want to come over here instead of going directly onto the central roundabout. And that should solve a bunch of problems. Now we just need to connect this one up to go this way. And then move these signals back a little bit. So you get a path signal there, and a block signal there. And did I not make you a path signal? No, what is the problem here? It loops into itself. Alright, which one of you guys... I guess it's gotta be this one. So just move you back a smidge. And there we go. So now we have that, which hopefully some trains will use as a shortcut into this whole segment. It sure would be nice if they did. Now this... Alright, so this guy is causing problems over here because this signal is there. Can we please just put signals in normal places that aren't a billion miles away from the signal or too far forwards? So what if we just pop you in, take you out, and now you should be able to creep forward a little bit, which will hopefully be enough to clear this section. Please, just a little bit more. Yes. Alright, now you, go that way. No, alright, well, worth a try. Alright, so is this actually all backlogged, or is it just very, very slow? So obviously this whole section isn't really going anywhere. But is it not going anywhere because there's just a lot of traffic? Or is it not going anywhere because there's a problem? And I think the answer is there's just a lot of traffic, which is not ideal. Is there some convenient way of fixing this? Not really. Alright, because everything is going in here, and it's just reaching the point where these trains are just taking too long. I think... Oh, we might have to do it. We might have to tear out a significant portion of the train network and redesign it. I don't know how exactly to redesign it, but clearly, like, this is clearly a massive bottleneck. Like, we can only get individual trains heading through here at any given time. So we need to figure out some way of routing the trains to either just go that way or to not have all of this traffic. So at least the iron is going through pretty reliably. So one thing we can do is we can just like move some of these hubs elsewhere. Like, we have a lot of them in a row here, and that's probably a mistake. If we just like... Actually, I wonder if we just cut this in half so that the other half need to go over that way, if that will solve the problem. So let's just go down to, like, here. And let's see. I need to make sure, because the first couple are designed to only go that way. These last few are designed to be able to go both ways. Alright, so what if I just chop that? Just that's not a way you can go anymore. So obviously they're all going to have to turn around and go that way, which shouldn't be too bad. And now the question is, probably, well, not really a question, the statement. Probably a lot of them are just going to go that way towards the main roundabout anyways. Also, how did they collide? I have signals. Collisions should be impossible with signals. You should get deadlocks instead. So what happened here? Oh, and there's another pair. Alright, well, you get re-railed, I guess. Okay, so the problem is I think these block signals are too short. Alright, so you all get re-railed. So yeah, this is what's causing it. So this train is stopped at this signal, but its couple wagons go all the way back here, and I think that might be what's causing this to think that they can go through when they can't. It also might have just been a temporary problem with the fact that I just like suddenly changed all of their pathing around. So we're going to take you over this way and turn on self-driving and hop out. So we're going to have to see if we continue having collisions like permanently once this stabilizes out, or if it's just a weirdness from them starting up being like this. Alright, so then you turn on self-driving, and you can just go. Off you go. Alright, you need to be re-railed. Oh, I know what happened. Okay, so these tracks are close together. But no, because it shouldn't have allowed both of them, and it shouldn't have allowed that guy into the intersection just now anyways. Maybe because... Oh, it might... No, that doesn't make sense either. Alright, well... Another problem is that them going this way doesn't seem to have gotten them going anywhere either. So this is because this guy is in this intersection. Alright, so you get going over here. And once you're out of the intersection, that other one should be clear to go. Oh, I just realized that this is maybe not where I want this guy to be going. It's fine. He'll figure it out. Alright, you can just go there. And I guess turn on self-driving. Because if you can figure out a path, then good for you. Alright, now we go over here. And so this guy is now the one stopping that from going, so we're going to give it self-driving and send it off. Alright, so now you are going through. And... Alright, now you're already going in. Why? Shouldn't you have... I guess I just don't understand what path signals do, because I thought they would have prevented that. Also, this guy is chilling here now. So what is it that you think's going on about this intersection that you can't go through it? I would love to know. I mean, there's literally nothing in here. It's completely empty. Are you just deactivated? Did you somehow get self-driving turned off? No. Alright, well... Then why are you sitting here at this signal instead of going anywhere? Like, there's nothing in front of you for miles, no matter what direction you go. And yet you're just sitting at a signal saying you can't go through. Alright, well, we're just going to manually get you through that signal then. And turn on self-driving. And now you're moving. Alright. And then there's that other train passing this way, which is fine. Looks like we do have enough space for that to be okay. Alright. Things are looking good now. Because this train has managed to get through that signal just fine. Now, I don't know if that's because it wanted to go a different place or something, but we seem to be making some progress, at least. Alright. They're all going. There goes another train. And that corner there is a little bit precarious, but it looks like it is fine. There should be plenty of space between those. Okay, now you're going to stop there while we wait for this guy here, because it has to go this way. Off it goes. Okay, now you can go through. And yeah, so the thing is, we're making significant progress, right? Like, trains are actually moving reasonably quickly now. There's just so many of them that even this, I'm not sure is quick enough. Alright, I might have to rethink the train system, which is fine. You know, this is why we're... The main reason I'm doing this world at such a large scale, using lots of trains, lots of high-quantity goods, is that I've been able to sort of ignore problems like this in the past just by having not as many trains. Like, if I have one train carrying 5 different things, I need, like, 1/5 as many trains, and then this sort of situation just isn't a problem at all. But I want to learn how to solve this sort of situation, which means going to a big enough scale that this is actually a problem. So I'm actually pretty happy that this has happened, because now I get to learn how to fix it. And what I have currently is definitely not sufficient. So I'm gonna have to think of some way of doing trains better that just, like, distributes the load more, I guess, would be the key. And I think the trick is we currently have one roundabout in the center and one giant hub in the center, and there's just no reason to do that. Like, if we had, like, a roundabout at each of these 4 corners instead, and then each of those maybe also had, like, a couple of these, then all the intersections would be distributed, the trains would be spread out over a much larger area, and this sort of situation wouldn't happen. So I think that's what we're going to have to do, or at least something like it, is move these from one big central hub to be more dispersed to give the trains more space. And the other thing is that this row in here is just physically not large enough. Like, the trains are overlapping multiple blocks, and that's just not good. But it does look like this is mostly fine now. Like, the amount of trains stuck in here waiting is dramatically lower. Like, there's just, what, one or two of them now? Now, there is something kind of funky going on in here. What is this all about? So this is... So the first thing to note is that this train, I think... Did I just not set you... Yeah, so you got turned off of self-driving, presumably when you wrecked or something. And now you're going. And so then that should let these two go, and that problem should disappear as well. So I think we have cracked the code. Yeah, so splitting that off was definitely critical. And let's see, I mean, doesn't seem to be any, at least, flashing warning lights anywhere. Now, there might be... We might have to head back to the roundabout to make sure that it's still working properly. And, you know, there might conceivably be trains going through random stations as U-turns, which I would like to prevent. But it does seem like we have made some progress. Okay, the roundabout, it's got a bit of a line, but not much. Like I see 1, 2, 3-ish trains waiting. And they're going through as well. So there you go. I never put a U-turn machine on this side, but it's probably fine. We probably don't even need them. So yeah, the thing we need to do is I just need to take some time to think about these trains, because clearly this system doesn't work. I need to just think of how exactly we're doing it. Like, the general idea of having them distributed is pretty simple, but the specifics of like making sure that they don't all end up routing through this central roundabout anyways is a bit more complicated, I think. Because like even like what we've done here has made a significant improvement, but it hasn't really fixed the issue. I mean, even these first couple are frequently sitting here waiting. Alright, but it looks like we got it functional at least. So let's just move on to something else. So we have our fused frame factory, which we were in the process of making. Now, we never got the aluminum ingots properly built up because we got distracted by the trains, but there've probably been a decent amount delivered there anyways, just while we've been waiting. So let's head over here and see. How many aluminum ingots are here? And good solid amount. At least going to be enough to get started and last for quite a while. And then obviously the nitrogen is still a work in progress, and we need to bring in the heavy modular frames. So let's do that. Heavy modular frames. Just get a quick wall up to there-ish, just above. Then we build out some space here. And we put in a drone port, which I believe the way this works is we first of all label this as HMF for fused. Just anything to make it clear what this is doing. And then we set that up, pop a drone in, and then we just need to power it on like so. and give it... I actually already have a stack of rocket fuel spare. So there you go. And I'm pretty sure I have a refueling stop at the HMF, so we shouldn't need to add another one. So you can go off and do that. The aluminum ingot train here has not successfully brought any aluminum back, but that's fine. So what I need to do now is find some nitrogen that I don't mind sticking on the network. All the way up there. So we're using a lot of that one and all of that one for power production, which actually let's just check how that's going. And it's going a bit sketchy. Alright. We're gonna have to figure out what's happening there. And it's probably just because of all of the rocket fuel that we keep stealing. So let's find the nitrogen up there, all the way in the northeast, and it's going to be faster to respawn so that I can use my hypertube cannon, which I have pointing in that direction. Swap to jetpack, and oh, the hypertube cannon was pointing in the other direction. That's fine. We can just do some quick mid-air adjustment. And then we fly over this way. Gosh, I hope we make it to this track here. Alright. We have successfully landed most of the way towards where we're going. So now we just head up here and grab some nitrogen. And it's going to be just past this sulfur, right? This is a long region with no signals because I assumed that we wouldn't need them because there's only one station out here, but it turns out there's going to be a second. So let's just get... I mean, we don't have to go crazy with the signals, right? We just need a couple so that they don't get deadlocked back here. Like so. There goes the rocket fuel sulfur. And then we just need to... Actually, probably back here would be better, just to leave some extra space. In this nice big gap here, we can put in another good old-fashioned T intersection. I sure do love me some T intersections on my train networks. Alright, so then this snaps in the way all the T intersections do. And it'll be able to deal with both ways, just in case. I don't expect that to be important, but it might be. Alright, then we need a path signal going in, a path signal going in, and a path signal going in, and block signals going out. There we go. That should be fine. And now we just need to, like, immediately turn this, which is not the most easy thing in the world to set up, but the corners look like this, and then like this, and then these. Alright, apparently that's not quite right. Okay, I think we need one more row of space in the turn. And then this goes. Yeah, that's right. So now those go around. And, oh wait, very important, auto connect mode. Otherwise it'll all look perfect, but it won't actually be connected up, and it'll be an absolute nightmare to fix. And I think as long as we're hovering, we should be able to tell if it's not auto connect, because we would drop out of the sky. Which we aren't, which means that it is working. Alright, so we just have to go all the way up here to this nitrogen. And it's just down there, that thing over there, I can see it. I'm not crazy, right? That's nitrogen, it's not water or anything. Yep, it is nitrogen. So we just keep on going. And we don't actually need that much nitrogen for the current project. We're going to need probably a fair amount overall, though, so let's see, is this far enough north? A couple more. Alright, let's go that, and then get our station in. So this just needs some stuff like that. Just need a bit of space. And then this needs to expand out. There we go. Alright, so this lines up with that. And gives enough space for that to twist around. So that connects in. Now we take this around and back. Alright, fluid freight platforms. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more. So let's get that, and the last one goes in. Now this railway goes around. And, alright, making these corners sharp enough is always a bit of a challenge, but let's see, no, that's not going to work. Alright, so I think the best way to do it is frequently just have it go out a bit. Like if we get it out to here, then it can turn around like that. And then this is set up. So this is dune desert nitrogen. And let's just get some signals in there. Or no, those are facing the wrong way. So you have to face that way. And you have to face that way. Alright, so now we have that. We just need to set up some pipes for it. I don't know, because the resource wells are different from the other stuff, so I don't actually know exactly how much I'm going to be getting out of this. But I'm going to say probably at least 2 pipelines. Definitely more than a single pipeline, so we're going to run 2, and then that would be 1200 nitrogen, and our current project needs 375. So, I don't know. If it's like... I think we'll just play it by ear and then add a 3rd pipe if we need to. So this goes along and goes along. And then all of these just get inputs into the various stations. And we have to not misclick and place random junctions on the ground, which we did again. So you go away, and then we just pop all these in. Okay, then these pipes just have to go across. It looks like our max height pipe isn't quite tall enough to line up perfectly with the train station input, but that's fine. Alright, now we get our floor holes. And these are gases, so it's not going to be an issue getting them up here. And what we need now is a wall. Actually, I have a blueprint to make this faster, right? Train ladder, it's called, for no real reason. And then we can drop this down and also grab power line. There we go. So now we can bring power line along this ladder, and it will help us get down faster. So there we go. Just have to bring this down to approximately ground level, which is pretty high up here. We're in the mountains. And we need to bring the power pole down with us. So there we go. And we're making progress, but it's quite a long ways because we are hilariously high up in the air for no real reason. It's just sort of how I designed this place. Oh boy. Alright, we're a bit ambitious there and wound up outside of power range. So let's make sure to bring that down. Alright, so this is just about there. I wonder if I've... probably haven't visited that hard drive yet, huh? Let's stop by and grab it. It'll only take a moment. Alright, so first, clear the area of poison gas. Yeah, there's definitely no way I grabbed it with all these poison gas cores so close. I would have had to destroy them first. Alright, so those are gone. Now we can drop down and grab that. Alright, now we need to bring the power the rest of the way down. So that just goes like that, and like that. Alright, now we just bring the power line along the ground like normal. And we get resource well pressurizer. And hook that up. So we have potential of 720. Now if we overclock this, it's potential of 1800. That's 3 pipes, which is pretty good. Not gonna complain about that, I think. So now we just pop the little extractors on all these guys. And is that all of them? Yep. All extractors connected. So now we just have to get these together into the correct assortment of pipes. So that's 300. So we want to pair it with another 300, so these two can go together. Just need to form these up into batches of 600. So that's a batch of 600. That's 150. That's 300. That's 300. Alright, so these two are a batch of 600. Then we have 300, 150, and 150. So yeah, then we just take the remaining 3 and form them up into that. So those two connect up. Then they bring the pipeline over to here. And then this one goes in too. Alright. So now we have 3 pipes of 600 nitrogen. We are just going to organize them up, make sure they're all pointing in the same direction. Did I just place a second junction? I did. Alright, so now these can all just go up that, and should be fine. Just got to get them over there, which is possibly going to be a little bit easier said than done. But just go over here, and then down there. We're heading in the right direction, and pretty close. Yeah, so now we can actually just pop these on to this. And I just need to figure out how to get them with enough space. We need to get them up there with enough space that everything works out and they don't try to snap into each other. So I guess we do not need the ladder, right? Like, we're just gonna hover pack up anyways and use the power line for that. So we can just build over the ladder and not have any problems. Alright, so that's cool, and all of these are still connected. And now we just go up. So these pipes go up and into that train. Okay, I don't know why this one has to be so much shorter, but I guess maybe just something to do with weird placement stuff. Alright, the lengths that these can be is all wonky. Let's try to at least bring them up to approximately the same there. And then we go up. And we go up. And we go up. And we keep on going. So there we go. There we go. The fact that these just really want to snap into each other is permanently annoying, but it's just sort of a mild nuisance at the end of the day. So just gotta bring this pipe up, and then once we have this pipe up, we can, I think we just, in the interest of having this be more dispersed because of the train problems we're having, I think we just run the train direct from here to the fused frames, and then we'll see if that has negative consequences and we don't like it later. I'm definitely going to have a think about exactly how I want this organized. But it shouldn't be that bad. Alright, so this gets all the way up. And now we just need to figure out how to get 3 pipes into all this. And also just dismantle some of that unnecessary stuff. And we didn't end up wanting to go through the floor holes. Just sort of more trouble than they're worth. Alright, so my idea is we have 1 there. And 1 there. And then this 3rd one can come down and under and then just go in from the other side. This is probably not the best way of executing that plan, but it should be fine. So then this can go out to here and into there, and then also I think simultaneously, please rotate correctly. Can they noodle together now? Alright. So we're just going to have to have this go a bit more indirect then, like that. And I don't know, something like that. Alright, now this should be all set up. And it should be filling with nitrogen gas. And it's actually filling relatively evenly across the board, except for this first one, which is filling much quicker. But, alright, that's nitrogen gas in the trains. So, now we can just pop down a train and send it on the trip. Popped into it instead of putting it in freight cars. Right, and then in Factorio, fluid freight cars and freight cars are different things. In Satisfactory, it's just the stations that are different. So we just do that, and you are going to there and here. And while you're there, you want to wait until you're empty before leaving again. Alright, and then you're just going to go off and do whatever it is you want to do. I guess you're going to make a lap before returning back for this, which is fine. Alright, so that is that. And now we have to make our own trip back. I really should have labeled that train. And it's going to be faster just to respawn. Having a good central hub with hypertube cannons is incredibly valuable in this game. Like, the amount of time it saves is intense. Alright, so now we just have to not accidentally go into that hypertube cannon. I really should get hypertube cannons facing east-west. That'll be something I do next stream, probably. For now, I just want to hurry up and at least put some machines down towards making fused frames. Like, we titled the stream that today, and then we sort of got, yeah, pardon the pun, but derailed by train crises. And so now we're finally back here. So we have actually plenty of aluminum ingots for the foreseeable future. The nitrogen hasn't shown up yet, but it'll make it here eventually. Alright, so let's build out this platform, and then we need to stop trying to place that at the wrong level. So we need to get the aluminum ingots up onto this, which will be the start of the factory floor. And this is actually going to be a relatively simple factory because of how much we're importing. Fused frames are normally an absolute menace because they need heavy modular frames and aluminum. We are importing the heavy modular frames and the aluminum from other factories which do it. Which, the aluminum we're still going to need to actually, like, build that other factory, because it's currently far below the amount of production that it would need. But we can at least do this so that we can say we did the thing that's in the title. Alright, so that goes in. And it's not helping that it's dark out. in the game. I guess I can remember that the flashlight mode exists. So there we go. And just keep going. And just a couple more of these. There we go. One more. Ooh, the train just showed up. That's exciting. Oh, and it's that one. Hang on, I've gotta get there so I can label you real quick. Please. All right, we made it. So this is fused frame nitrogen. All right, the train has been named, and that is one less mysterious, confusing train on the network. All right, now we come up here. And I don't actually know how much of exactly of this that I need. Also, I still have notes from the rocket fuel factory on my screen this entire time. I just sort of tuned them out, but yeah, those notes are old and don't need to exist anymore. That factory has been finished. Alright, so now we have these, and I probably want these to be facing the other way, but it doesn't really matter. Very minor space concerns, really. So, fused modular frames. We need 750 aluminum casings, which means we need like 1,000-ish aluminum ingots, which is a lot. But nothing for it to just get some constructors in and get started. So that is going to be back here, I guess, and probably just expanding out that way. That's where we have the most space. So we have constructor, aluminum casings. So, 750 divided by 60 is 12.5. Now, the inputs for this are 90 a minute. If I make that 40, the inputs will be 60 a minute, and it'll be trivial to balance. So let's do that. So 750 divided by 40 is 18.75. So we're going to need 19 of these, and then the last one will be underclocked even a bit more. Alright, so let's expand that space out a whole lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's grab power. Got some back here. And just make that a Mark III. Alright, what were we at? 11, right? I think we're at 11. Pop that in somewhere that's not going to be in the way. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14. And then this should be all the space we need. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And bring some power over here as well, and it was 18.75. So this last one doesn't need to produce 40, it needs to produce 30. So yeah, so 40 times 18 plus 30. 40 times 18 is 720, plus 30 is 750. Cool. Alright, math hasn't broken. It's always good to confirm that the laws of mathematics still apply. So what we need now is just... I think this last one needs to be a smart splitter. I haven't actually done this, but technically all of these can just be regular splitters and it works out. I guess we're going to do that here just because it's nice to use less smart splitters than you need. It doesn't actually matter since I have basically infinite building materials. But, you know, it's the principle. So this goes along here. And then these all get Mark 1 belts branching off. And then at some point, we're going to need to worry about restocking the input belt, because one single input belt is not going to be enough. So this just goes along like that. And then the smart splitter. This last one is left any center overflow. And we have a Mark 1 belt going there. Alright, so what we need to do is 780 divided by 60 is 13. So the first 13 of these can be fed by a single Mark 5 belt. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then this one needs to be like that. Alright, so then we just have to put the belts into those two spots and it'll be all good to go. So that just connects across. Right, now we have to do this. So we need to get two belts out of this. Now, I don't think I've ever done it this way before, but this should work. So if we put splitters here, then we can get 2 rows of mergers that all of these go into. And, I mean, let's see, if we just have them like that, and like that, then this would go in there, and no, that's not going to work. Let's see here. Maybe if we have more space. So if you're spaced out like that, then this can loop all the way around to there. And then all the way up to there. And then this one can go directly into there, and then straight modes, not always the best, but then something like that. So there are other ways of getting this 5-to-2 splitter, but this works, I believe. And we just have to basically duplicate that for all of the rest of these, I think. So those two just run straight across. And then this one goes into there. And then not straight mode. I want you to be in any mode other than straight mode, I guess. Can default mode go up 1 tick there? No, it can't. How about if we just give it more space like that? Yeah, so if we just give it more space like that, it can go up a tick. And then over, and then into there. Alright. So now that we know that works, we can send this along the whole way to all these. Like that. And then we connect this up across to there. Not like that, although I guess it doesn't really matter, but like that. Then these just go straight across. These need to be a little bit longer. So to there and there. So we have to take these out and rebuild them to the correct length. There and there. Alright, so now that goes to there. This comes out this way. And up. And over. And in. And let's just connect all of those in too. So then this comes out this way and up and over and in. Now we have 2 belts taken from all of those, and I don't think it's even... I think it's going to do weird prioritization things, but it should be fine ultimately. So now this belt just comes along there and into that. Alright, so that is that. And it should work. So this makes 750 aluminum casings. So these can all output onto a single belt. So let's start by powering them up. 6, 7, 8. Alright, let's leave some extra room on the power lines just in case. Always good practice to do that. Because you never know when you're going to need to attach like a random something or other in. Alright, so then we can grab this one, which is otherwise not being used, to hook up these last couple. And then this one to grab these. Oh, and then I never connected this across. Let's just do that. And boom, aluminum gets done. Alright, so now this is going to make a whole load of casings, which, combined with things that we have here, so we can just bring these back, right? Like this. And I probably could have done this in a blueprint and saved a lot of time, but it's fine. I like placing machines, it's relaxing. So across we go. And just a couple more of these, and then we're going to have to start popping in the belts. So we get Mark 1s going in because it's only 40 there. And then we have a big, fast Mark 5 belt taking all the casings down. Alright, so now these casings go over this way. Off we go. Alright, now we have all of our casings on a belt. So the next stop is, I guess, just the actual production itself. Did we ever get nitrogen gas in here? We did. Cool. Looks like one train full. So, we actually have to hook all that up. So this goes along like that. And we only need a single pipe out for this. So we can just do this. And across to there. Oh, I didn't confirm. Gotta double click. So now all of this goes in the pipe. And we'll have our nitrogen gas. And why did you do that? Why would you think that that's what I wanted to do there? The pipes in this game are silly sometimes. Alright, now this just comes up, and we'll send it through a floor hole just because that's generally how I do things. Just as future-proofing in case I need to eventually have a floor there. Alright, so floor hole. Up you go. That's our one pipe of nitrogen. So, we have nitrogen. Check. We have... This did show up with a good solid stockpile of heavy modular frames. And this has all of those. So now we just need to get the blenders in, right? Because it's got fluids and solids. And we're going to need 10 of them. That's how many we always need. Although we could go up to 12 for ease of load balancing. We'll see if the numbers just naturally work out, but we're probably going to go up to 12. Fuse modular frames. Yes, so these numbers are not good for load balancing, and 10 is an annoying number for that. So let's make sure to push these far back there so that we just have space. And then this is going to be 15 divided by 12, so 1.25. 1.25, 83.3%. And then we just got to place this row in. And then just load balance them all up. And we'll be partially good to go, at least on this side of the factory. So there's still, obviously, the aluminum ingots production is nowhere near sufficient for this. So even once we're done here, we're not going to be like done, but at least we'll be making fused modular frames. Alright, how many was that? I should have been counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, 2/3 of the way there. Keep on bringing that power pole with us so that we don't drop out of the sky, which would be very embarrassing. And then that goes over there. And we get 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so unless I've counted wrong, which is entirely possible that I have, this should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, that's 12. And they're all set to the right numbers. So now we just have to get the balancing in. And it's two things, right? So we're going to actually need... We're actually going to need a second... We're going to need a floor just above this for logistics, or maybe... Yeah, we can actually just send the... This is one of the advantages of being a million miles in the sky. We can actually just send these down. Like that. And then we can deal with them below ground. So now we put all of these floor holes in. And we don't need to balance the nitrogen because it's just gonna come in at a very fast speed. I do want to, I think I want to speed balance or speed limit the modular frames so we don't just like fill up all these with 50 of them for no reason and use a ton that we don't need to. Which is gonna be getting a bit fancy, but we need what, 15? It shouldn't be too hard to limit to that. So across we go. And all of those are in. Alright, so now we're just going to pretend that the heavy modular frames are done and put in the casings. So these get 1 to 3 splitters first. And it's like a lot, right? 62.5 per minute each. So we're starting right off the bat with Mark II belts, and it's only going to get faster from there. Alright, so that then lines up like that. And we get all of these in. And we just have to do a couple more of these. Like that, and like that. And then we come over here. And these last two. Last two by, I mean last three, obviously. Alright, so now we have 4 batches of 3, which means we can pop that in. And these have to be Mark III already, because it's like marginally more than, it's like 125, right? As opposed to the 120 that a Mark II can handle. That goes in like that. And that little bit across there. And then this, I guess we can do this here. It goes across like that. And across like that. Alright, so these are like 180 each, or something like that. I don't know, math is hard. Let's just go up to Mark V's for this. Might not be necessary, but it's easier than counting. Counting is hard. Alright, now this belt just comes along this way. And pops into there. Alright, so now we can get those distributed across. And let's power on these blenders so that they can also start going in. There we go. And then we have this power line, which I guess can finish them off. There we go. All of these. And there. Alright. So that is that done. All split across. Aluminum casings are going in. And it is going to take a while. Approximately 40 seconds for those to fill up properly. So next we need to get the nitrogen gas, which doesn't need any fancy stuff. It just goes across, because there's going to be more flowing through the pipes than it needs, because it needs 375 and there's going to be 600, obviously, so that just won't be an issue at all. And we just have to bring the pipe across and then get it all hooked up. So there we go, one last little bit there, and we're in. Now we just connect all of them across like so. So that one. And then all of these. And now just the pipes go in. And then we just have to connect this pipe up to the nitrogen gas pipe, which will be obviously simple. And then we just have to set up the 60 to 15 slower, which should be trivial. So so that we don't overuse heavy modular frames. And that will obviously slow down how fast this can get started. Why did you do that? Let's dismantle you and send you in the normal way. Thank you very much. Now we get this. This pipe comes over here and pops in. Just like that. We have nitrogen. And it's going to have to manifold across, but it should be extra fast, so I'm not concerned. Now we just have to go down this floor. And of course we are past the level of the train stations. That's not going to cause any problems. And now we can just set up a nice quick logistics floor down here and get the heavy modular frames across. So we start with this. This is a Mark 1 belt, which is 60. So what we need first is a priority merger, then a splitter, followed by another splitter. So this belt is going to be 60. So we send 30 back that way. Now this belt is going to be 30. Send 15 back that way. Now we set these sides to higher priority. And now this will be a belt of 15 output. Now we just need... we might want to face that a different direction, actually. We'll see if we can squeeze it in here without having to rebuild it. So let's just get this first batch of 3 in. And so that is going to go like that. Obviously these are all going to be Mark 1 belts. So that is the first batch of 3, then that is the splitter which will get it to 6, and that is the splitter which will get it to 12. So then that goes into there, and we don't have any issues with that. So now we can just finish this off. It's a bit spacious. It's 4:59. We're basically done with this. We're gonna give it a couple minutes overtime, just so that we can say that we finished. I don't want to stop in the middle of this, plus I'm having fun anyways. Alright, so this all comes down. And... okay, can we just get that a little bit over so we can judge the height correctly. There we go. Alright, now we get the rest of these splitters in. So we go there, into these 3. And then we go here into these 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then we get this into these 2. And then we just have to finish it off with this batch of 3 here. Oh, I placed this on the wrong one. It's supposed to be one over. Should be here. That goes in. And now all of those belts go across. Alright, so now that snaps into that. This. Yeah, so then this comes all the way over here. And a little bit further. And snaps into that. So we have 15 there. Split into two. Split into two again, although I forgot to connect that across. And I actually, come to think of it, just forgot to connect that across in general. Alright, so now we have that. Those are all in. Pretty sure those are all in as well. And we should be just about good with that. This is running slowly as I want it to. Alright. So now we just go up here and we set up the output, which is just the usual. So we just merge all of these up into a row of 15. And then put them in a box and then sync the spare. So this can merge back this way. So off we go. And hopefully by the time we're done building this, the first couple will have finished making their fused frames, and we can say that we finished the factory. I hear sounds. The fact that I hear sounds means that it is working. Alright, so let's get some space over here. And then we go organization. Industrial storage container. Smart splitter. And a sink. The sink is not going to be running for a good while, but eventually we'll get there. So go there, and there, and there. Now we just have to connect all of these up. And we will have fused frames. Although not many, because the aluminum ingots supply is probably going to vanish like instantaneously. It's probably already mostly gone, to be honest. But at least we have some. Yep, and we can see them off in the distance, heading towards that industrial storage container. So now we just go over here, and we have one Mercer sphere left currently. We're going to have to stop by to grab some. And then in the unlikely situation we ever need a massive amount, we have a Mark III belt going into the Dimensional Depot uploader. So that should be all of those that we ever need. Alright, and alright, something has gone wrong here. And the thing that's gone wrong is just that we're already out of aluminum, looks like. Or no, it was just paused. Okay, so it was paused while we got another supply, but that new supply is also just very small. So yeah, I mean, we're basically all gone. But at least we got some fuse frames in the process. So this is going to burn through the last of those. And is this not going? Yeah, this might not be outputting fast enough. Did I accidentally use a Mark IV belt somewhere? Alright, that's Mark V. The first split is Mark V, so we're probably fine. Oh, these aren't outputting at 100%. That's probably it. Alright. Regardless, thanks everyone for hanging out. Had a lot of fun today. We've made significant progress on this. So yeah, we have the fused frame factory physically built if we can just get the aluminum ingots to supply it. And we are already up to respectable 43 in the Dimensional Depot. So that's nice. It should be enough that we'll be able to grab our technologies that rely on this. And then not much more than that, but at least it's something. So yeah, I guess that's going to be about it. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Had a good time with everyone. Make sure to follow if you haven't already so that you know when I go live. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time playing various Factory games. I play Satisfactory on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Factorio on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you're interested in that, then I will be playing Factorio tomorrow, where we are, let's see, we just managed to recover from a bit of a death loop, and we are expanding out towards a new oil field, which was the cause of the death loop, but that's fine. And so if you're interested in Factorio, make sure to stop by for that. Otherwise, I'll be back in Satisfactory on Friday. So thanks everyone for hanging out. Had a good time, and I will see you guys.